24 hours a day.
Here's Matt Hart, owner of the Hart Media Group in Clinton, talking about continuing to serve the community through new ownership.
Things came together and we reached an agreement to purchase. And as you mentioned, we closed August the 1st. So as August the 1st, Miller Media Group is now Hart Media Group. And we're continuing to serve the people of Clinton and DeWitt County and Monticello and Bloomington and Decatur and everywhere, because we'll just keep connecting people as we've been doing.
The Hart Media Group looks forward to continuing to serve the community for years to come.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guests in studio today from the Neighborhood Care Center, Cody Monkman and Mandi Reese. Good to see you guys. How are you?
Good to see you, Seth.
Yep. Thanks for coming in. And Mandi, I know you've brought a young guest with you today. Tell us about Mr. Potts here.
So we have brought our intern from this summer, Zack Potts, with us today.
So what's a summer intern do at NCC?
So that's a really great question. We invited Zack in because we knew he was interested in learning more about what it looked like to live on mission. And so we thought, why not invite him in to see what Neighborhood Care Center is all about and kind of let him get a behind the scenes look at how a nonprofit organization works week to week.
Okay.
And so that's really what we've done, is just kind of invited him into spaces. He's had some hands-on experience, but he's also been a part of a lot of meetings and things that maybe people normally wouldn't get to do, just to kind of see what it looks like.
Sure. Well, step back for just a second so the folks at home can see Zack. And first of all, Zack, what's your experience been like with NCC?
It's been amazing. It's been very eye-opening to see like the community in I guess its real way. Like I had no idea like homeless people lived in Clinton, but just through various discussions I've had with Cody and the neighbors from Neighborhood Care Center, it's just really eye-opening to see what people's lives are actually like and what their experiences are, I guess.
How'd you get connected with this opportunity?
Through Dalton Weaver, the youth pastor at FCC in Clinton. He knows Cody pretty well, and he thought this would be a good opportunity for me this summer.
Cool. So what did you think Neighborhood Care Center did coming into this experience?
I just thought they were pretty much a food bank that was faith-based, but I had no idea that it was this much and that they were still expanding into Vermillion County and McLean County even.
Mandi said you got to sit in on a lot of meetings. How was that?
Very cool. Very cool.
Really?
Yes.
Sit through
Be honest.
I was going to say.
Be honest, Zack, some of them were boring.
I was going to say, sit through about 10 years of meetings and come back and tell us they're really interesting.
Yeah, some of them are very boring, but we sat in on like a CAMA meeting this morning, which is all of the pastors in Clinton from the churches, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Cool. So what is there an experience that has stood out to you this summer?
Yeah, I would say kind of go back to what I said earlier, eye-opening. They provide economic support with people, and it's in a closed room, and people tend to open up very much in there. So I would say that just seeing people's experiences and them telling you stories, it's just very moving, I guess.
Now, you graduated in the spring, is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. That's so to jump into an internship before you even go to school is pretty unique. Was that at all like, I mean, I don't know. What did you hope to get out of this experience?
So going into it, me and Dalton Weaver, the youth pastor at FCC, we just talked about like what ministry might look like in the future for my life. And I think this is a great opportunity to see what it might look like in the future. So this is just like opening new doors in my life.
Do you want to go into ministry like as a career path?
Yes. So I'm going to be a pilot, and there's a lot of ministry ways you can be a pilot and like have that involved in your life still. So I'm not sure exactly what that might look like. So I don't know yet.
So you said there are a lot of ways that those two things can overlap.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, or is there an example you have of like what that looks like maybe for someone else?
Yeah. So you could fly ministries or missionaries into like parts of the world that like you can't just drive to. So like villages in the middle of Africa or like South America or something like that.
Cool.
You could have that, or there's many other different things you could do as well.
Yeah, for sure. So, but you were also, and I hope it's okay to talk about this. You were saying that instead of going to school in the fall, you're basically doing a mission trip. Is that right?
Yes, correct. So it's a 6-month mission trip to, it's called Youth with a Mission is the organization.
Mhm.
And I leave in September and I'll get back in March. And the first 3 months, I'm just learning about the gospel with 30 other people from all around the world. I don't know any of them. And then for the second 3 months is where I travel somewhere else and talk to people about God and share my faith and just help others to know God better.
So is there any overlap between that program and your time at Neighborhood Care Center, or are these just two totally separate things?
Two totally separate things.
Really?
Nothing related with each other. Yeah.
That's really cool. For such a young person to kind of be doing these things, Zach, tell me a little bit about like how, you got connected with the church, why your faith means so much to you. How about that?
Yeah. So I got connected through the church with a kid named Asher Hitchings, who's involved with the church. He invited me to Bible study, and that's where I met Dalton Weaver. And Dalton Weaver, through various conversations, we've just he's really helped me in my faith and helped me be confident and share my faith with others. And I just baptized my really good friend Jack Manning the other day, last Monday, at the lake, and it was just a really moving experience. And so Dalton Weaver has really just helped me grow my faith in so many different ways.
That's really cool. That is really, really cool, man. So in terms of your experience at Neighborhood Care Center, what lessons are you taking away from this time this summer?
I would say one of the biggest things is how generous people are. I mean, Neighborhood Care Center wouldn't be able to be a thing if people weren't generous. So just, it's really just crazy how, and I've been fundraising for my trip this summer too, and that's just really made it clear how generous people are. And I think that's one of my biggest takeaways of the summer.
That's really neat. That is really neat. Did you want him to talk about anything, Mandy?
No, he kind of hit all of it. It was
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, really, really was. It really, really was. So you mentioned going to get your pilot's license, Zach. Where and how long does that take?
So I'm going to go to Parkland Pathways through 2 years at Parkland, 2 years at the U of I, and I'm going to study ag business as long as with aviation.
Oh, really?
And so the aviation program is just 2 years long. And so I'll get my private pilot license next summer, and then I'll get all my ratings to be a commercial airline pilot after that.
That's really cool. That is really cool. And Mandy, I feel like one of the lessons of the Neighborhood Care Center is that ministry doesn't have to just be in the four walls of a church building, right? Like anybody in any career, any occupation, you're always ministering, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we hit home all the time with a lot of our mission partners, is Neighborhood Care Center provides a space for them to come in and understand better how they've been wired, how they've been created, and what can I do because of who I am, and to really go out and step out in obedience and bravery and courage and do some of those things to really make a difference in your community and where you live.
Did I miss anything with you wanted to talk about your experience with Neighborhood Care Center, by the way?
I don't think so. One thing you just said is how ministry work is not just talking to people about Jesus. It's also things like behind the scenes, like for Neighborhood Care Center to be like stocking the shelves or something like that. It's not just talking to people about Jesus ministry work. It's also so many different things. It doesn't just have to be talking to random people, approaching random people at the grocery store or whatever about talking to Jesus.
It's setting an example, right? I think that's what I don't know if I could say, you're kind of setting an example of what just that, what it looks like to live like Christ and those sorts of things. It doesn't have to be in your face talking about it all the time. It can just be, lending a hand, to somebody who's in need. So with you, Mandy, did I miss anything you want to talk about?
No.
Cool.
No, I think you hit it all.
All right, cool. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, we are just a few minutes ahead of a break. I want to get to expansion for the Neighborhood Care Center. This is very, very exciting. So we'll take a break, a pinch early, and we'll come back and talk expansion with folks from the Neighborhood Care Center. Again, that is their summer intern, Zack Potts, Mandy Reese, and Cody Monkman in studio with us as well. More to come with them on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
This is Jonna Fulcher, summer intern on the RFD Radio Network. Let's take a look at the markets, starting with September corn, 444 down 5 1/4. December 466 3/4 down 5 3/4. March 481 3/4 down 6 1/2. Soybeans September 1156 1/4 down 17 1/2. November 1174 1/4 down 18. Chicago wheat September 637 1/4 down 13 3/4. KC wheat September 705 1/4 down 12. Now taking a look at our livestock, lean hogs October 83.22 down 45. Live cattle October 226.70 down 2 cents. December 226.17 down 5 cents. And last, feeder cattle September 342.92 up 37 cents. This is Jonna Fulcher on the RFD Radio Network.
Don't let bone or joint pain keep you from living life to the fullest. Gibson Area Hospital Orthopedics and Dr. Jeffrey Lowe are now welcoming patients at the Warner Specialty Clinic in Clinton. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, an injury, or ongoing orthopedic pain, expert care is just around the corner. Take the first step toward feeling better by scheduling an appointment today. Call 217-784-4340 to schedule your appointment with Dr. Lowe in Clinton. Quality care close to home, because Gibson gets it.
The WHOW Morning Show is now video streamed live on the WHOW WEZC DeWittDailyNews.com Facebook page and on the new WHOW TV YouTube channel. Watch morning show host Seth Lawrence interview guests live, as well as watch archived video podcasts of any interview you missed. Whether on Facebook or YouTube, we're providing 2 more ways that Central Illinois' local news station, WHOW, delivers compelling content for you.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, my guests in studio today from the Neighborhood Care Center, Cody Monkman, Mandy Reese, and their summer intern, Zack Potts. And Cody, I saw on the Instagram a few weeks ago, really exciting development of expansion for the care center. What's going on, my friend?
Yeah, so back in February, we got contacted by 2 women, Linda and Deanna, who live in Vermillion County, and they said that they had heard about Neighborhood Care Center and they wanted to learn more and see if it was a concept that would be good for their area. And so we started those conversations. In fact, actually, my 4th kid was born in early February, and I was like, well, can we wait 2 weeks? And they didn't want to wait. So we did a Zoom call, and it went really well. And then obviously they visited both McLean County and DeWitt County to get a better vibe of our culture and how we do what we do, why we do what we do.
And that's probably not something you can do in a day, right? They probably need to come several days.
There was a lot of conversations that led up to that.
Right,
so
sure,
that when
sure.
they did visit, it wasn't like they now had a context to apply everything to.
I see.
I actually don't think that they have been over outside of that. Now, our operations director over there has been over here a couple different times. But yeah, so we had those conversations, and then I think it was by the end of April. I can't remember if it was end of March or end of April. It was pretty quick. Oh no, it would have been end of March actually. That the board made the official decision to agree to work on expanding and creating a 3rd care center network for Vermillion County that would be based in Danville.
That's cool. That is really cool.
It moved quick.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like this comes on the heels of you really just got McLean County kind of off the ground and running, right?
You know, it feels like that for sure. And there are still things that we are learning in McLean County. And in many ways, McLean County is a totally different beast, given its specific to the rural parts of the county. It's a large county. It's definitely different, but we've been doing that for 4 years, which is kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about different. I mean, and this isn't a slam on Danville at all, but I mean, that is very different from, you know, rural Clinton, rural Hayworth, rural McLean County. I mean, to set up in Vermillion County in Danville, that is just different. So speak to that a little bit.
I'm glad you brought that up. So early on, before the board even made an official vote, that was one of the conversations that we had, was if we were to expand in a 3rd care center network, and it particularly would be based in Danville for Vermillion County, which is a county of 80,000. Is that considered mission drift? That's not really in the cards for us, kind of a thing. And we essentially concluded that the mission of Neighborhood Care Center has less to do with rural in a particular demographic in that regard, and more to just helping, supporting, and inspiring people to reach their full potential, no matter where that's at. Now, our value system jives very well in rural areas, rural people. The positive is, and I think we've talked about this in the past, that inner city culture, urban culture, does have a lot of similarities with rural culture as far as worldview
and values.
the
and
way it
such,
gets
yeah.
manifested is different, but like the value system is similar. It's that suburban culture that is different, that majority of Americans today live in. But so all that said, when I did my research on Vermillion County, one of the things that I looked at was economics. What are their economic drivers? I did look at the demographics of people, both in economics and race. And one of the things that I had concluded was that by and large, the Vermillion County economy is agricultural and manufacturing being more in the urban worldview, and that there isn't a majority of the population that is more of those suburban thinkers, but it is, urban and rural. And so for that reason, I was like, I actually think our value system lived out there would work well.
So do you have to scale NCC to match that? You said Danville's 80,000 or Vermillion County's 80,000 people. Do you have to scale what you do at NCC to meet that kind of population?
Maybe to some degree. I mean, one of our values is small is big, and that is both personally within our mission partners, but also organizationally. So we are not in the business of creating another institution that needs to be managed and needs to fundraise to just keep the wheels turning. And so for that reason, I mean, I think the building that we're going to be using is 2,500 square feet. That's actually smaller than the building in DeWitt County.
Oh, really?
And the building for DeWitt County is 4,000 square feet. And in Vermillion County, they're going to have their own distribution center as well. So it's a distribution center plus the location for the network itself. But yeah, so part of our philosophy though is that's where innovation can take place. Like when your back is up against the wall, in many regards, when you're in a small space, you're going to have to innovate how you do what you do. So it can be a positive. It doesn't have to be a negative. And the other thing too is as far as scaling goes, one of my beliefs is, whenever I look at nature, whether it's humanity or just nature itself, when nature wants to scale itself, it doesn't make a thing smaller. For example, you want more oak trees. How do you get more oak trees?
Plant more oak trees.
Well, you got to have the nuts, right? Like you plant seeds in the ground. You don't make a bigger oak tree,
right?
Or if you want, more milk, you don't make a bigger dairy cow. You got to make multiple dairy cows. And it's that same principle applies in my belief in leadership, as if we're going to grow, we're so used to making one thing and just making it bigger. I come from a world of let's multiply, like keep it small. And if you can keep it small, you can actually multiply quicker and faster. And,
so where does Vermillion County start in this kind of multiplying?
Well, so I mean, this will be our third care center network. So
right.
the biggest conversation early on is obviously physical location. What is the infrastructure there? Is it possible? And then also funding. How do we get funding? And then the third, but honestly, once you're open, the most important thing is going to be finding the right people. Do you have a local base there that is interested beyond Linda and Deanna? And
do they?
Yes, absolutely. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I think we've at this point, it's been easier than what I would have expected.
Wow.
Things have just really fallen into place, and all I can do is just chalk it up to God, I guess.
Mhm.
But the location that we will be based out of is being donated.
Mhm.
We're going to be in a strip mall area just south of the downtown area across from the courthouse. As far as funding goes, we've applied for a couple of different foundation grants. We haven't officially been awarded them, but I am still very hopeful that we will. And that's what will carry the heavy load for the first year while we still buy time in creating individual donor base.
So you've added in the last just 5 years, McLean County, now Vermillion County. How do you keep this small but true to the vision you have?
So we are going through growing pains, and one of those is I have slowly stepped away from operations. Mandi here started out as our communications director, which by and large, I mean, you can do that from a computer, especially in 2026. Mandi is the operations director for DeWitt County, being more hands-on with our mission partners there. And then she is the interim operations director in McLean County. We are looking for an operations director for McLean County that lives in McLean County. And then we have Molly, who is going to be our operations director in Vermillion County. So, I mean, that is a big growing pain that we are going through is everyone's kind of learning new roles, and I'm having to figure out what are things I need to give away and no longer be involved in so that I can think about the other things.
With this expansion, does that mean your fundraising has to pick up and you've got
for sure.
Yeah.
We're we will, the hope is that we will have another fundraiser that will be in Vermillion County somewhere. Probably going to have to do that next year, just with where we're at in the calendar year. Holiday season's never a good time for us to do something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely something on my shoulders, is being more hands-on with donor development, which has been hard to do when I have been doing operations. And you know, so
sure. On that note, my good friend, I need to let you guys go. How do folks follow your center in Clinton, your center in McLean County, and now your center in Vermillion County?
Well, we share a website, neighborhoodcarecenter.net. And right now, so far, we share a phone number, 217-935-6844.
Social medias?
Facebook and Instagram.
For all three or just one? Just
all three.
We have one.
Just the one for all three. Yep, very good. Well, guys, good to see you. Zach, good to see you again. Thanks for coming out this morning. Again, Cody Monkman, Mandi Reese, their summer intern, Zack Potts, with us here on the WHOW Morning Show. Again, we stream live at DeWittDailyNews.com, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news comes your way next on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
The Big 1520.